Good morning, my peeps. It's Saturday morning, so we've got the Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. This is a special show today. My name is Roland from R&D Hotline. If you have a question, call the hotline. Now, I usually have a monologue that I start off with and talk about all kinds of stuff and give you a little piece of my attitude, but this entire show is going to convey so much of my attitude because we've got some special guests. So we're going to get on to them soon. And before that, let me introduce the people you already know so well, my co-host, starting with Molly Youngblood Geiger. Go ahead, Molly, tell us who you are.
Hi everyone, my name is Molly Geiger out of Jacksonville, Florida. The name of my agency is Design Right For You, and I participate with Google on several different platforms. I am a Google Partners Community Ambassador, a Google Small Business Community Advisor, and a Google Rising Star. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, and then we loved having you. And by the way, I let her do that because I can't remember all the pieces. We just call her the Google lady. Now, my second co-host is Karen V. Chin, and she is a San Francisco marketer. And really, so I'll let you tell a little bit about yourself. Say hi, Karen.
Hey, Roland. Hey, everyone. I'm out here in San Francisco, as Roland mentioned. I am a marketing consultant, and I am really jazzed to listen to more about what Adam and Ben Fisher have to say today.
I know. I've been dying. I've been thinking about this for a week. I had a conversation last week with Adam, and we just went off, and for an hour we're engaged in stuff. So that's the type of thing I expect today. And just to give a brief intro up, say hi, Adam, and say hi, Ben.
Hi, Adam, and hi, Ben.
Dang it, Adam, you stole my line.
I beat you to it.
So now you have a preview of the Tom and Jerry who we have on the show. No, not at all. Let's start off by nailing you down. And Adam, tell us a little bit about your background and what you bring to the table.
Sure. Well, I'm Vice President of Sales for Steady Demand. We are a social reach company, market a lot of Google Plus, semantic search technologies, and great content marketing. I've been working in a sales and business development capacity, marketing capacity for, oh gosh, I want to say 15 years, but it might be 16. I'm losing track. I don't know if that's a good thing, but at least 15 years. And I started with internet data technologies back in 2000. Have built account management programs, branding programs, sales teams outside, inside, communication programs really in relations to sales and marketing that entire time. So that's everything that I do. Enjoy people, I enjoy connecting people, and I love helping.
Okay, thank you. And Ben, if you'd follow up and give everyone an idea of, I know that it's really hard to do in a minute's time, but let's hear a little bit about you.
Can I do it in like a really high-pitched voice and really speak very quickly? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, we can tune into that.
Now, first of all, I want to say, Roland, thanks for having us on the show. It's great to be again here with Molly as well as with Karen. And I want to give a quick shout out to Zara and Vivek. They're in the audience. So that kind of speaks to a little bit about who I am, which is I'm really about other people. And I've been helping businesses succeed online since about 1994. And I've touched, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been in business since I was 18 years old. And met Adam actually about 15 years ago. We were working I was taking a break and working at the same company.
Maybe 16. We'd lose track.
Something like that. I don't know. And basically, as far as fields of experience, we're talking about everything from social media, SEO, to semantic search, content marketing, building great teams. But at the core of it all, I think Adam really said it, and that is it's about helping people. Really, and companies identify their problems, their needs, their wants, their desires, and bringing them down and back into reality, and then helping them just explode, basically. And at the end of the day, it's really fun to look at a client that you've been working with for 3-4 years, and they're like, I had no idea my business could be this successful. And we were just one component of that, but it's it feels great. Anyway, I think I went off the bio, but I think that's okay.
Well, you've basically wrapped it up, and we've kind of concluded all the content for today in a nutshell. So we'll see you guys, and thank you for being here with us. Now, I know that there's so much more, but you guys have just basically conveyed the prime center of what I deliver on the show, and that is we care about people and we try to educate people, we try to help people. And on the underlying essence of what we do here is I tell people, if you're not willing to start off with an attitude of giving in your marketing, you're really not on base with me, and we probably should part our ways now. So that's I think that you sense why we feel that we are in alignment and very supportive of what you guys do. Now, I first met Adam on Zara's show. She had this interview, was interviewing Adam, and I'm watching these people. I know Zara, and she's a great interviewer, and we're going along, and I'm watching Adam and saying, who is this guy? I mean, I had never actually met you or seen you, and you were very fresh to me, but I knew that Zara has good people. But now, the whole time you were on there, I'm going, this guy does not speak like a marketer. He speaks like a people person. So that was what spurred me on to contact you, and that's why you're here today. So the first thing I want to get off my chest is so that we can move on, because this is a big one, okay? Just how much is a pound of pasta cooked? Because your Google Plus profile says you can eat a pound of pasta, cooked pasta, in 20 minutes. So what's that all about?
When growing up, my stepfather was Italian, and so my mother cooked a lot of pasta, and so it's my comfort food. And when I was a teenager, as I was growing, teenagers tend to eat a lot, eat you out of house and home. I was definitely on that path, and so I learned how to eat a lot of pasta. And today I can go through. It's about 4 large platefuls, and I can eat the whole thing. And it's not even a question of trying. It's a question of, did I just do this to myself? And I'll be looking at this empty plate and empty pot of pasta, so that's literally true. I don't just have the ability. If I'm not careful, I will do it accidentally.
So Adam, what's your favorite sauce with that pasta? Just anything. You'll just eat anything that's a pound.
I don't like mushrooms, so I try not to have mushrooms in my sauce, and not a big fan of Alfredo. Other than that, it's on. Is it plain? I'll put salt on it.
Adam, you just said you're not a fan of Alfredo. Those are fighting words.
Well, I like it. It's okay. I like it. It's just that's not my choice. It's okay. We don't have to fight today.
So you're a red sauce kind of guy then, huh?
That's usually what I cook. Yeah. Yeah, I'll make a quick sauce, usually using tomato. I make my own sauce and everything, but I buy it too because I could be lazy and just want to dump it in. But
okay, so we will exit the subject because we want to tread softly, because we don't want to leave these guys with a challenge that they cannot overcome as partners. So
I had to do this on a hangout, eat a pound of pasta.
Yeah, really.
Everybody's within 20 minutes.
So, gentlemen, as a group, one or the other in trade-off notes, what exactly is your focus on steady demand? I know that you focus on a lot of bigger companies, but if people want to know what you mainly do and what your focus is. So how would you describe steady demand as a company?
Okay, I'll answer that question first, and then I'll let Adam take a stab at it. But so number one, the impression that we only focus on larger companies would be actually incorrect. Politely, I'll decline that. We work with all ranges of companies, actually. So we work with, for instance, a solo real estate agent to somebody who, say, runs a hotel, to public companies. Like, for instance, we work with a company called Endurance International Group. They're one of the largest web hosting companies in the world. So we've basically been able to kind of design what we do to be able to serve the the small business marketplace as well as the enterprise marketplace. And to the question of what we do is we say at our core we are a social media management company, a content marketing company that helps at the end of the day with semantic search and teaching Google, kind of who you are and what you are as an entity, as a business. But it's at its simplistic form, we help companies just increase their social reach at the end of the day with their ROI and with their goals in mind. And yeah, over to that, Adam. You take your spin on it, buddy.
I'll talk not about technicalities. What I love about our group, and maybe this kind of goes into the whole message of helping people in front. As content marketers, we definitely help any business that has a need for having a message put in front of their business, so that when the consumers of the product or service or whatever is looking for them or looking for information on them, they've got information that's really going to resonate with those people. That we can surface their content on search through social is to me new and unique and it's awesome. But ultimately, it's about helping build communities, and Google Plus is a great place for us to do that. We manage a lot of other networks as well. Like Ben mentioned, we were working with one of the largest hosts in the world. This is a big group, but we're also working with an individual real estate agent, and we, several of them. We can market any brand, any product. But the challenge they have going forward is they don't have the time, the energy, the experience, the expertise, the talent to drive and deliver content marketing, which is, if anybody's watching what's happening with social SEO and the convergence between the two, content marketing and all of the places that the online marketing world is going. It's difficult. It's hard to write a 7-paragraph article in long form, and a lot of companies are still stuck in long tail or some other archaic SEO techniques. So we're helping people understand and evolve to that, whether they're working with us or not. We're working on, and even right now we're actively looking at new ways to communicate out, hey, the world's changing. And that's what steady demand is really about, is keeping on top of that ultimately. And I love that about us, because we're a pretty sharp team, myself not included, but the rest of the team is a pretty sharp team that's able to watch these trends and keep things moving forward.
So Adam, what would you suggest would be like a marketing tip for businesses now? I mean, it sounds like content marketing is the key. I mean, what would be it? I mean, if you had to focus on like, well, how about this? How about this? Make it easier. What would be the top 3 that you would focus on?
Top 3. I don't think that makes it easier, because I'm thinking 20. I don't work in that way, which always makes it hard when people try to zero me in on the one thing. What is the one thing? Well, the one thing today is gone tomorrow, isn't it? So I can tell you what I'm doing. For us, content marketing would be the easy way, making sure you've got good representation of your brand in all of the different information nodes that are available to you that matter to Google, the walled garden of Facebook, and Instagram, all the social stuff. I mean, that's what we Steady would talk about. I would say as a marketer, I'm going to, even myself, go beyond that. I'm going to take new ideas and new methods into old techniques, because I'm sales as well. I'm not just, hey, I'm here to market. I'm here to get traffic and get attention. And so I'll give you an example of what I'm doing today. And so hopefully this applies to businesses that are thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this, and this, and online. And I'm going, after this hangout, I'm going to put on my flip-flops, go down to Pacific Beach, San Diego, to a festival. There's a fair going on. There's something like 600 vendors. I'm going to have a lot of fun. I may have a beer or 2, possibly 3, and hand out a lot of business cards and meet some people. And then I'm going to try to connect them on social, maybe even bring them into a hangout and say, hey, what happened? Who knows? And take some of these new ideas. So I'm always looking for a new way to get connections or to expand my social reach. And I would say that's really the secret, is not to do the one thing, but to constantly evolve the one thing into new ideas, test new products and services, test new techniques and conversations, test new communication routines, and fail often. Fail as much as you can. And if you listen to anybody who's talking about success coaching, there's the word failure is a big part of, like, get over it, pick yourself up and go, because if you don't do this more, you're not going to succeed. So that's my MO. That's my personal philosophy when it comes to marketing. Is to keep things moving forward.
But in answer also, I think to Karen's question, if you had to sum it up into one thing, I would say that is find a way to save yourself time. Because at the end of the day, time is the one commodity that is extremely limited for all of us. It's a very finite source of resources. So as a business, I don't care if you're small, medium, or enterprise, you still suffer the lack of the resource of time. So learning how to, and most businesses don't know how or can't do this for whatever reason, because they don't feel right about it. They don't feel like there's a good enough person for it, or whether they don't have the money for it. That's a big problem too. Is find a way to delegate. That would be my biggest marketing tip, is find a way to delegate. And whether you're delegating to an outsourced company or whether you're delegating it to Billy Bob, who's your cousin, it doesn't matter. But just delegate it. And you can still oversee it. You can still watch your business and your messaging. But that would be my biggest tip.
That is cool stuff. You guys are running over some huge subjects, and I know that we can't delve into all of them. But I would like to focus on one or two right now and see what you have to say, because I have my ideas, but I know that people want to know what your take on the definition of these terms are. And so the first one I would like to ask you about is, what exactly is, in you guys' terminology and your explanation, what is social SEO?
It's a great place to start. Okay. So social SEO. When it comes to Google Plus, of course, anything that you put into Google Plus is, of course, indexed into search. Posts are considered web pages, brand pages are considered web pages. They all function from the technical side just like a web page, as any web page does. So when you are going ahead and you're doing what's called a long form post, which basically in itself is almost a mini blog, right? So like with State of Demand, it's like we hire PR and journalists because the content that we put into G Plus is not like 140 characters with a couple hashtags and you're done. We write like literally between 400, sometimes up to 800 words for one singular post. But the reason is because of the content that's in that post. It's very relatable to the strategy, basically, but it's also relatable back to the content to which we're linking to. So we're bringing basically the semantic relationship between these words that are strung together and the imagery that's there, and back to the website itself. Now this extends out, of course, further, because now you're optimizing from a social SEO standpoint. You're optimizing all of your other profiles and other things, again, coming back to semantic context, to continue to build on the meaning, basically, of what an entity is all about. And that's where I think the social SEO aspect of it kind of comes into play, is that the more authoritative that you can build yourself, the more context that you can bring to yourself as a business or as a personal brand representative, the more you're going to be able to impact the search results for at least one individual person. So if you've got 5,000 people following your brand, and only maybe over a course of 2 years, 10% of those people become clients, depending on what you do, that could be huge, depending on what you do. If you sell something for a penny, not so huge.
So I really like your approach to that, and something else that you said in the midst of that, that I think the people, when they hear this particular term, and this is, they build on each other, when they hear this particular term, they kind of, like the question mark pops up above their head, and they go tweak, and that is, if we could get an explanation on your take of what is semantic search.
What is semantic search? That's a big question.
That's another hangout.
Yeah, that's a whole hangout in itself. Semantic search, it comes back to it's kind of almost a reiteration of what we just talked about with social SEO, but it's based on volume, veracity, and velocity, basically, right? So. But also it's the veracity, I think, is probably the most important aspect of it, which is the verification or the validation from multiple sources to basically say that you are Roland, and definitively, and I can verify this because of all of these different sources of data, whether that be from Twitter, Pinterest, from your schema markup, from me linking to your personal profile and saying Roland has this awesome HOA, SMMs, and Smarties, to Adam doing the same thing, to a higher authority like Forbes, for instance, linking to you and saying that this is Roland and he has this HOA. At its very basics, that's the concept of semantic search, which is basically putting meaning to something.
Yes.
And
I'm sorry,
yeah.
you used that term a couple times, and it's so simple that we talk about what should I do to advertise my business. Well, I think that's kind of the wrong question to ask in the first place. But regarding SEO, socially, and semantic search, the whole content issue is that we should be relevant and we should express meaning behind what we do, our services, and our products, and then communicate that to the people. And what so many people start off with is marketing is like, I have this widget, and how can I sell the most widgets possible? And they want to go from A to Z in one leap like that instead of building the relationship that's going to automatically sell their product.
Right.
And so I love that stuff because the modern take, and you guys are very modern on this take, is supporting the principles by which I do business. So I thank you very much for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll add one more thing to it, and then I feel like I'm going to be completely monopolizing this, and I'm going to be quiet. And that is that, if you do your marketing in a very authentic and genuine way, and you do it without actually sales at the forefront, and you do it with the meaning of helping people and actually solving a problem. I'll give you not a secret because we all do this as marketers, is that during our intake process, we ask our clients to give us up to 50, if they can, they never do, but up to 50 questions that they encounter during the pre-sales, the servicing, the actual activation of the customer, to the support of the customer. And we take all of these things because we want to be able to answer the question for somebody before they've even met our customer. Because if we can answer those questions ahead of time, then we're helping. And when somebody sees that you really care about their problems, my problem as the customer, they're much more receptive to be like, you know what, I'm going to give this brand a chance.
Excellent job, and I know that you're conveying that message there. The thing that I know is that you and Adam both really care about your customers and your clients and your relationships, and that's what really attracted me to the whole thing, because so many people out there just playing a numbers game, and they just want to convert, and they want to just kind of disconnect and let the machine do itself, and they don't want to be real online and convey what's really going on. It's about a good time to take a brief halftime, so to speak, and bring up that we had a blab pre-show for the Smarties today, and I want to let Bill Graham know that I appreciate it, and I thank you for that. You did a really good job of conducting an interview of me, and it was just really smooth. And also, Elaine Nieberding joined us, and she had a little comment in the stream here. Nice morning, afternoon, Smarty Pants congregation. By the way, I'm not sure I like that one, Smarty Pants, but that's okay, Elaine. She's the one that came up with a theme song for my name, so I owe her from the earliest days. I owe Elaine a lot, and we won't sing the song today. And but she once wanted to thank Bill for warming up the folks in Vance in the Blab, and that's maybe what we're going to be doing in the future, is having a Blab session an hour before the Saturday morning Marketing Smarties. Talk a little bit about what's going on, talk about the current subjects, talk about the guests for the day, and then here we are. So this is our experiment with that. So thanks a lot, Bill. I appreciate it. And more people are commenting. But if you have questions there, and by the way, it could be that our guests don't know some of you. If you want to post in there where you're from, then they can see what kind of a reach they have today and where all the people viewing them today in the Hangout are actually seeing them from. So sometimes we end up being conspicuously global in our outreach, even with 20 or so people, and it can be a lot of fun. We got some great watchers. That's one thing that's for sure, is our constituency is focused. They're here very regularly, and I appreciate that. So, ladies, do you have any questions for the guys?
I actually just have a comment I'd like to make about Ben was saying. You know, a lot of the hangouts that I do with Webmaster Central and the product manager over there at Google Switzerland, who's a Google Search Trends analyst, he basically Ben is echoing exactly what he says. You know, Google as a company, their whole point is to provide quality content and to help people learn and get information. And you know, building upon what Ben was saying, that you know, when Google does that, when they're able to rank a domain authority or page authority based on social signals, you know, based on optimized website, based on if the website's responsive, you know, there's several different factors that tie into how Google actually will rank a business online. And I think that's where a lot of people get confused, because they think, oh, well, if I just optimize for search, I'm good, or oh, if I just optimize for local, I'm good, or if I optimize for you know, social, then I'm good. So, and I totally agree with what he's saying about doing the posts. You actually, if you do posts on Google+, if it's about a certain subject, Google will actually index that. Meaning, if somebody goes to search for, like I talk about SEO a lot, or trends that are happening with Google, and if you go search that subject a day or two later, there's my post right up there at the top of the search results. So I see a lot of other ambassadors and rising stars and TCs out there. They're out there posting about those same subjects. So I just wanted to make that point, that that is how Google looks at a business. They look at several different factors, and the more of those factors that you optimize, the better chance you're going to have to get a better page rank.
Cool, thank you. And I wanted to give a chance for Karen to say something.
I think it adds on to Molly with my comment. It's so for Adam and Ben, how do you feel, or how do you have those tough conversations with your clients and potential clients when you see maybe a landing page or their website and it's just really bad? I mean, how do you start that conversation? Because I mean, as you mentioned, you guys are about, you know, relationships and trying to do good, but that's that key where it's kind of like, how do you tell somebody, hey, you know, maybe that landing page or that website, it could be.
You start, and then I've got a story.
Yeah.
I've delivered so many web projects in my time, and I don't know if that means I'm an expert or crazy. I'm really, you know, it's web development, and there's so much that goes into it. And if we're talking landing pages, I think my biggest challenge, this is kind of unrelated, a little tangential, but what I want to see is a return to usability studies and split testing, which we used to do 10 years ago. I've heard other web devs talk about this when we're talking about, like, are we doing good enough to convert? Conversion optimization, these are the commodification of the process down into a client. And I think that's important. When I'm looking at, somebody's asked me to market them, and I look at their, the piece of information, if we're going to relate it to semantic search, the node of information that is one of the most critical is your website, is your on-page SEO, and we will kind of send a message saying, hey, you need to get away from that a little bit and look more at your information nodes on all these different social profiles. But it is still important to have applications on a website that convert into the product or direct content that you want to be researched for. And if you look at that and it's atrocious, it's like, oh boy, as far as how I handle that going forward, I can relate that to make it easier. If you're a marketing consultant and you want them to succeed, and you're not doing the website development, or maybe you are, and and they're taking you down the wrong path for the design, I don't know. I put my intentions in the right place, my desire and drive to help them, and that somehow finds a way for me to communicate gently that here's ways that we can improve. Okay, I like this, but. And I'm just honest with them about it and conversational with them about it. Now, if they really like an idea and it's really bad, that's where you kind of walk on eggshells, and eventually you just got to put your foot down and say, look, this has got to work. You're going to call me in 3 months and ask me why it is or isn't working, or why you're not a millionaire because you hit the internet lead spigot and it's just pouring in, is pretty much what's going to happen. And I tell them that a lot of times too. It blows people away how honest I can be on a call, which is, look, this is exactly what's going to happen. This is my goals. This is what could go wrong. I'm trying to sell you something. This is the disasters that could happen in 3 months. We could just, have all this frustration. And let's talk about not having that situation. And again, that's coming from intention. That's coming from what Roland seems to like about me, which is I do actually care. At the end of the day, I'm one responsible for taking your money, and you're going to look at me that way. I don't want you to look at me that. I want you to look at me like, I'm your business partner. You're giving me resources to help me with the project, and that's kind of how my perspective is. So when I'm dealing with a website that I don't like, I'll go through the positives and the minuses of it, and then show them the path through that.
I would add to that, Adam, that I've actually had that same conversation before with customers, clients, and I've seen some really, really bad websites. And I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but at the same time, I want to help them. And so the way I approach that situation is I just say, okay, well, this is what you have in place now. And then I show them a website that has been optimized and say, this is what you can have in place. And if you decide to work with me, I will be able to produce a return on your investment. And I think for our business, that is really the main point, is they want to know at the end of the day, well, if I pay you money, am I going to see a return on that money? Am I going to gain clients or customers from that investment into my website or social or SEO or any of the other strategies that are out there? So that's just my take on it, because you want to be delicate with somebody when they don't have a good website. In fact, me and William Rock did a web analysis or audit a couple weeks ago for a client, and we did just that. We just went in, looked at it, we told them this is what you have in place, this is what you could have in place, and it went over really well. And that would be my recommendation, is if you're not sure, contact a professional like any of the people on the board, and just have them do an audit of your website.
I think the place you've got to look out for, really, and I've sold some pretty large enterprise development deals. I've negotiated a bunch of that kind of stuff, and I've done a ton of mom and pop as well along the way. I think the only thing you want to watch out for with web design consulting is if they're really proud of their really terrible product. That's the place where it's like, oh boy, what do I do? Like, oh well, I have this, and you look at it, it's like, reinforce it. Great, congratulations for getting this far. Wait till you see what we got coming up. I can't wait to. I'm so glad you got this far. Let's talk about what we can do. And just kind of move forward with something positive. Stay positive. Never insult somebody for their product. Bad will always get you in trouble. And
I'll disagree. I'll disagree. And there's only one reason why I'm going to disagree. Okay, so I'm going to start off with one concept first. Value equals benefit divided by cost. Okay? in sales, in whatever you're doing as a business, this is always going to be true in the mindset of the customer. Now, why I bring this up first and foremost, before I get to even the whole you have a crappy website or a crappy landing page discussion is because ultimately at the end of the day, that's what we're delivering, is we're delivering value, right? I don't care what the product or service you're offering is. It could be websites, analytics, SEO, it could be social media management, it could be content marketing. At the end of the day, it has to express value. Okay. So now this is why by the way, what Adam said, what Molly said, 100% on that. I agree with every little bit of it. But here's where I will differ, and this is this. I'm going to give a little bit of a story. It's a story about a dentist, and he's out of New York. Okay, he's one of our clients. So he came to us. Damn, I can't tell who he was recommended by. But anyway, I think somebody who owns a very large social network. That's all I can say. But he was supposed to say, basically, he was recommended to start on Google+, help his local listings for his firm. And he didn't know why in the world he was ranking, right? Why he couldn't get ranking. He had citations down. If you looked at any of the tools that are out there, you would see he's like, oh, this is perfect. This guy should be like, he should be in the 3-pack. He should be in the snack pack. Number one, hands down. He's proud of his website, extremely proud. He's got over 4,000 pages of content that's geared towards dental practice to, really ugly pictures. I'll just say that, which people like, which is kind of weird. Anyway, but it's 4,000 pages of content. When I first started talking to him, I said, I don't know if you've had a sudden drop in traffic or not, or at any time in your lifetime of your website, but you look like a perfect case for a Panda penalty. And he's like, well, what do you mean a Panda penalty? It's like, well, your content's really thin. We're talking maybe 80 to 100 words per page. I said, not to mention you've got all this duplicate content going on where you've got your footer, which has the exact same content on every single page. Plus you're going from a thumbnail to another page which has also duplicate content of the page that you were just on. I said, so you're, yeah. And actually on top of that, he had a lot of website redirects from other places, but he was the actual were 302 redirects. Anyway, I saw all these on-site SEO issues. Our customer only pays us $600 a month. I said earlier, time is a valuable resource, right? It's a finite resource. I decided to spend the extra time with him and actually help him and say, look, you've got to examine these issues because no matter what we do, we might be helping prop you up, but you're never going to get past a certain point because you're already in the penalty box. You just don't know it. You haven't gotten a manual response from Google Search Console because you've been doing this stuff since 2010. And so, kind of Google's already said, we don't like you at this point. And I told me it's recoverable, but it's not a service that we offer. Yes, your website sucks. Here's what you need to do to fix it. And I do say that. I will tell somebody, your website sucks. But I mean it with all the greatest intention and love, because it's something that needs to be fixed. And if somebody's going to be spending money and banging their head against a brick wall, they're going to bleed to death and they're going to go out of business. And I don't want to be responsible for anybody going out of business.
Yeah, do the right thing.
It has so much to do with people think they're doing the right thing, but they're doing it wrong. So they're building up all this backlog of stuff that's actually hurting them, and they don't realize. And they've adjusted to some trends and practices that they don't understand, and so they're hurting themselves. And that's one of the worst things that they can do. Karen has a question for you.
So back to that comment, Ben, and that was a great response. For the audience, I know a lot of them are not necessarily, SEO savvy. Could you explain in really simple terms what is Panda versus what is Penguin, so that everyone in the audience will understand what you're talking about?
They're both animals.
Okay.
They're not Homo sapiens. No, so they are penalties that Google imposes basically on companies for either knowingly or unknowingly utilizing tactics for on-page and off-page search benefit. And even in this case of this customer, he actually didn't even know. He was just kind of doing it. Whether that's the truth or not, that's a different story. But so with a panda penalty, you're basically, it's talking mainly it's an on-site type of issue, or it's a duplicate content issue, where the content really is not meant to serve any other purpose than just to have content for the sake of content. And it doesn't really serve any kind of purpose to the end user themselves.
So it goes back to that whole thing with Google having relevant content, right? What for someone who's searching, to make sure that you're producing relevant content out there and it's not just garbage. Right?
Exactly. I mean, well, little stories here and there. I'll give you another one more of it that talks to Panda and Penguin. Before we started Steady Demand, and I was saying I was an SEO consultant to the entire web hosting industry. So from GoDaddy on down the line. And but there were quite a few of my clients who wanted to buy links. They wanted to get links on the footers of every news industry site they could. I had one hosting company that did actually go as far as to do a SQL. I'm sorry, let me back that off in techno speak. Wanted to put a hidden link on every single page of their web hosting clients.
Ooh, that's not
websites. Right, a hidden link, and done through at the website server level. I mean, it's really spammy. That would trigger a Penguin penalty. So Penguin equals links, Panda equals content. Why they chose the animals, actually, I don't think anybody really knows. But hey, and you got Hummingbird for their search rewrite, for semantic search that happened in 2013. Anyway, so. And then I had clients who wanted to build out, hey, let's build out a knowledge base. We'll answer every single question in the world that we can. Well, that's great if you're going to actually answer the questions instead of just putting up garbage text. That doesn't really answer the question. So, yeah. So anyway, I guess in layman's terms, that's a little bit about Panda and Penguin. Molly, I know you have some stuff that you'd love to say about this, probably.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed, there is a panda and a penguin stuffed animal on my backdrop, and I love talking about these algorithms. And the reason I like talking about them is because they really are designed to help a business succeed online. And like Ben was saying, the Google Panda was a change to Google search results ranking algorithm. It was actually first released in February 2011, and the change was aimed to lower the rank of low-quality or thin sites and return higher-quality sites near the top of the search results. And then what Penguin is, it is an algorithm that Google launched back in April 2012, and they have introduced it to fight web spam in search results. And the primary function is to crack down on sites using spammy, or what we call our black hat techniques, to game the system, like paying links or keyword stuffing. And so going back to quality and Google and them trying to really produce quality websites, that's why they started these algorithms, because they want the websites that are ranking for search to actually provide quality content. And the most recent scam, if you want to call it, and I just learned about this yesterday, is hackers are actually going out there and they're using Google AdWords. And what they're doing is they're trying to trick people into clicking the link, the user thinking that it's going to a YouTube video, when in actuality what they're doing is they're sending the person to what we call as a ransomware malware, and to a virus called the blue screen of death, which is ransomware, which it basically goes into, you have to pay me $300 for me to unlock your computer, and if you don't pay me the $300, then you're stuck. Well, unfortunately, even if the person pays the $300, does nothing. It really is a horrible thing, and that is exactly why Google has these algorithms in place, is to protect online users who are really searching for information. And I will add to the algorithms. There's two more algorithms out there. There's also Hummingbird and Pigeon. So those are two more algorithms I'm not going to go into today because I know we have those are actually two whole other Hangouts by themselves. But I just wanted to quickly add that I'm constantly following the changes that are happening to Panda, Penguin, Pigeon, and Hummingbird because they really do protect online users.
Yeah, and rather than have the hangout go to the birds and animals, we will try to keep ourselves on track. When we talk to human animals, Adam, you bring up something that I know that you exemplify, especially in Zara's interview with you and what we've encountered. And you really emphasize the human-to-human contact in marketing. And that I know that that's what you love. You love connecting with people. And then you also say you love connecting people with people.
Yes.
So that's what it's all about. It's like you're building relationships and stuff. Do you have anything to add for people that really understand what this human-to-human contact is about?
Well, I enjoy connecting people to people as almost a hobby. I mean, I don't know if that's the right way to put it, because I don't want to call it a passion. It's just something that I have fun doing, and it doesn't have to necessarily have a monetary value. I just kind of think it does. But in relation to, there might be some questions on what we're talking about here, whether actionable items. So let me think about that for a second. For relevancy. Google's, and I'm going to talk about humans, but I do want to talk about little techie for just a second. Google's looking for relevancy. They've been saying that since the beginning, but they've never really achieved it. And so when we're talking about making your marketing relevant to search, or just the best part about what we're talking about today is what we're actually challenging you to do is to just beef up your external outbound, inbound marketing and make better connections, create a better system for your entire group, your team, your small business, your office, yourself, and your personal brand. That's why I'm running out to a festival today to take pictures and tag people and put in some application, put the human element on top of all the technobabble. The idea that with the semantic stuff, the personalized search, all of these changes, people wondering where all the traffic has gone. Google is asking us, social is asking us to be social, to make connections so that they understand who we're connected to, what we're interested in, to create content that reflects or answers a question or helps a need or is just fun and engaging so that we're having conversations. That's what I enjoy on a personal level. I think it's a lot of fun to connect people and see what they do together. I think it's a lot of fun to connect with people and see if I can help them, see if we can help each other, or just have a great conversation. What if we could succeed in SEO because of that? There's a great question. And if you're watching or listening to what Google's actually saying, but more importantly, what they're not saying, I think there's a lot of room for growth for all of us there. And just look at Twitter. You would look at your mobile search. Have you seen Twitter yet? That's brand new. And there's a lot, they take social very seriously. But how do we win on that? Do we trick the system? Do we write a bunch of, junk content and hope no. Be relevant, be genuine. We've said that a million times, but so we have to get past that now. Let's be beyond being genuine, beyond having the right intentions. Go out and do it. Create great content and radiate that throughout your life, throughout your brand, throughout your employees and your teammates or your contacts or your network. I'm saying that as somebody who's learning how to do this right now too. I've been in SEO for a long time. Lots of this white hat, black hat update stuff, and it's a refreshing idea that I can just rock it out, be a great person, work on being a better person, communicate that out to the public, try to help as many people as I can, and be favored for that, as opposed to being able to set up my meta tags better than somebody else. I don't know. Does that answer the question?
I love it, and
pretty
loves it too. So we want to show this to everybody. Vivek says, humans with natural intelligence rather than artificial intelligence must be on everybody's mind right now.
Sorry to interrupt, man. I'd really like to interject right there. Machine learning is looking to help humans. So it's looking to keep us, with everything I just said, on point. And G+ is a big part of that. Hangouts is a big, big part of that, of machine learning, and how veracity, integrity, these new terms you're going to start hearing more and more about are being quantified, and keeping those people that do not have those qualities out of the mix, or maybe in their own little bucket together where they can just kind of spam and scam each other.
Yeah, let's put them in a tiny pond and let them swim.
Yeah, let them sit there and do their...
Agreed. I had a quick question. I don't know if that's a quick question for Ben, because people don't know exactly necessarily what you've done with a Google Plus community, but you're like one of the early adopters, I believe, of Google Plus, and you have the statistic of being in some communities and being responsible for some communities that amount to something like 200,000 members.
Double that.
Double that. I wondered, you need to update your profile. Well, you're big on communities. You obviously know how to build communities and to sustain them, maintain them. What would you tell people who want to get involved with their own community?
Okay. Well, I mean, the reason I'm so involved in communities... Sorry, anyway. So the reason I'm so involved in communities is that I've been building communities myself since 1994. When I started my first business, I said I'm going to start a community for Flagstaff, Arizona. So I did. And I attached that to my business. That is, and the reason is because just like Google Plus, like any social network, you want to surround yourself with like-minded people who are going to be able to help you get to your destination, and you're going to be able to help them get to their destination in one way or another. And communities is the best way. I think is one of the best ways to do that. So, like, I'm a moderator for like social media professionals, social media strategy, a bunch of social media professional types of communities. Also, as far as when it comes to like local search. Stepan Hovnanian's small business Google Plus for small business community, which is now just recently taken. Linda Bouquet has taken the reins of. She's a Google top contributor, and so we're kind of making that a little bit more towards a local slant now. So that community has over 100,000 members. It's very active, very thriving. Anyway, yeah, I think that answers the question. Yeah, so. Involved in a lot of communities. At the end of the day, it's about surrounding myself and connecting myself together with a lot of like-minded people.
Yeah, and the idea is, whether it's a small community or a large community, you're able to do so with the right intention and the right engagement factor, so the community itself is worth something, not just a number of people signing likes on Facebook, but you're actually building an integrated, interactive community based on the subject matter and that stuff.
And it has nothing to do with the size of the community. Size
right.
does not matter. It does not matter in this case. So, no. But, the thing is that you want active users. So you could have a community that has 200,000 members, but nobody has notifications turned on. That's useless. Right? Because nobody knows what's going on. They don't see anything. One tip I would give everybody is if you're looking at a community, grab Circloscope. Go ahead and run a community through it. How many people have been active and posting in the last 30 days? It's a really simple, quick process. Take you about 5 minutes to do it. Take you about 50 minutes to do it, depending on the size of the community. But if you see that there's 100 to 200 people that are really active in that community, join it. Absolutely. Get to know some people. You never know who you're going to meet in a community, just like with Hangouts, who is going to be a mentor, a friend, a partner, a collaborator, somebody you can outsource to. Did I say a friend? So all of these things you can get from communities, Hangouts, everything. So yeah, I say absolutely get involved in communities.
Very, very cool. I want to give it. We're winding down to the end of the hour, and I want to give Karen and Molly a chance to any last questions that you might have for our guests.
No questions, but I just want to say that everything that they've been discussing is right on. It really is about best practices, getting out there, content marketing, optimizing your business for search and for local search. I would definitely stress that. And get out there and hang out and join a community. Google Partners community, Google Small Business community. There's many communities out there that are designed. There's analytics community and AdWords, and most of the Google products, they've got their own communities, and those are actually Google ran communities. So the people, the content, information being shared there are spot on, and just get out there and network. Use social, use video, and market yourselves online.
Thank you, Molly. Anything from you, Karen? Am I putting you on the spot?
No, actually, I had it on mute. No, I totally agree with Ben. It's quality versus quantity. I mean, it's always that. I mean, no matter whether social or in real life, you definitely need to be aware of that. And then also, I like the idea of Adam and his networking, going out there to fairs and finding new potential. Because it's the idea, I think, now is basically you want to work with people that you have a relationship with, not just client customer, but there's actually a tie and a connection more so than just doing business. I mean, because that's key now. Because that's what social is all about. And you learn more about what people are and what they do and their likes and their dislikes, and now you know more about Adam and his pasta.
That's right, and that was one of the main points of this hangout. No, you gentlemen are getting a better idea of myself and my constituents and what kind of message we deliver. We'd like to help everything from the small business to the people who want to listen. And so, and excuse me for the earlier assumption that your business was focused on large businesses. That was my bad.
Oh no, it's all good.
And the fact that you do deal with small businesses explains a lot to me. And of course, we all get started somewhere, so I like helping the people who are doing the same thing I was a few years ago. And so if we were to take the crowd that is listening, because these people have been here for months and months, some of them, what do you have any last fleeting words that might help them on their pathway to developing success for their business?
Don't give up. Don't give up. Because we talked about time a couple times, right? And one of the things that I think any business person who has not been in business for at least 5 years feels is that what they're doing is in vain. They feel like they're going and they're like, oh, I've got to do social media. I have to do it. I've got to be on every single platform. I call BS. I say, pick a platform that's going to get you the best return for your time. Get to know it. Get to know the people that are there. Reach out to people. Make some friends. Make some connections. At the end of the day, I can guarantee you that if you put some time into it, even if it's 30 minutes a day, that you will see a return. When I first started this business, I put in 4 hours a day on Google+. Well, my business was about Google+, so it made sense. I didn't see a return on that for 2 years. 2 years. Over 100 hangouts, bringing celebrities to G+, all that kind of stuff. But I made some awesome friends out of the way. I can recruit like crazy just from Google+. So that solves another business problem. And at the same time, I really don't get business from Google+, but it solves it solves a ton of other problems. So set up your goals and put the time in and be patient. That would be my takeaway.
I love it. And Adam, do you want to add anything on the end of that?
I would say go get it. So when I'm speaking to going to a fair, that's just for fun. Yes, I will make some contacts. I want to make direct connections. It's about engagement. We talk on social media about engagement. What does that really mean? It doesn't mean broadcasting. Go engage. Go get it. Go find them. Talk to them. Find a way. Communicate. Rebuild it. try it again, fail, 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 go get it. So where Ben's speaking to keeping it going and not surrendering, I'm speaking to put yourself on the offense instead of on the defense, and understand that not just that you can do it, you have to do it, but you're going to do it, and then go do it. Have fun, and it's not difficult. I love engaging with people, and I love bringing people together. So that might be a natural thing for me, but I think everybody here wants to do that in some way for some. There's a reason you're watching, so I think that's probably it's related to that. So whatever that is, go march forward and make it happen. And I've found stumbling all these different times, it doesn't matter if you just keep going and you focus on the positives.
Great. I love it, and you ended on a great term there, positives. For one thing, I would even take the angle that you mentioned on failure and give it a little bit of a curvature slice, because I don't like the word failure because that implies an abrupt ending of something, but I do like the idea of redirect. When I end up running into a wall that other people call a failure, I say, that's not a failure to me, that's a redirect, or that's just a change in my course. And even if it's a radical change, it's still a change in my course. That's not a failure. It's turning towards the better answer. So, there are different ways to look at that, but I agree, you got to pick yourself up and keep on going if you fall down.
It's the same thing, and it's just I think when we use marketers use terms like failure in that perspective, it's trying to help people understand that it's okay for that program or that attempt to not work. Try again.
Absolutely.
Try again. One of these is going to work, and it takes 7 of them to get that one. You're on 2 right now. Try another 5. Try another 10.
Failure is just another opportunity to learn.
That's right.
Absolutely. Love it. And so if this encourages anyone out there to get started and to maintain their course and to adjust their course in a smart fashion, then we have done our job today. And I think that we've delivered some great things from our 2 guests today, and of course our co-hosts too, that should help people with their mentality. And if it's one thing I would stress on the whole thing is the attitude with which you start your business is so important. The attitude and your intention. And that should be analyzed before you talk about what tools should I use and how should I do this, or how often should I post, or anything else. Analyze where you're coming from and what you want to achieve. And let's see what Ben would like to post.
Well, I just wanted to share really quick this statement from Nancy Marie Stubbs. She said, "Thank you, Ben. As a newbie, I found a wonderful group of people, but I am learning the platforms one at a time, and it does take time. I won't give up. It's going to be great. Starting in this atmosphere of engagement." Absolutely, Nancy. Keep it up. Yeah. You are going to be a winner.
She is a winner. She actually, just because we don't recognize the adventure that she's been on yet, she's definitely on an adventure. We've talked to her, and she expresses a lot of great smarts. She's been on the show, and we've had fun with her. So she's going places, and is going to show us some interesting stuff. And I wish I could have captured more intently some of the comments going on in the stream. They're worth going back and reading, you guys, if you have a chance. You'll see where the people were who attended the hangout today and where they're coming from to see what you're doing. Because we had more participation today because I used your names. So you gave us a boost, and hopefully we'll give you a bit of one too. Everybody, I don't have a lot of marketers on this show, but these 2 guys were really worth it, and I was glad they came. So we're going to be wrapping up the Smarties today. I want everyone around the world, wherever you're coming from, I want to thank you very much for joining us today. If you have questions, we'll go back and attend to them in the comment stream, and hopefully the conversation just keeps on going. So I thank you very much, and good day from Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties. See you now.